Chapter 30, Air Brake Foundation Systems and Air Brake Circuits, Day 1, Video 6, Unloader Valve. So in the last video I touched a little bit on the unloader valve, or about the lack of valve train. So these are the discharge valves, or the spring-loaded poppet valves here in the cylinder head that act like the valve train would in a internal combustion engine. I've got the piston traveling up. It is reducing the volume of the chamber here, so we are compressing the air. So what that'll do on this side is I've got that surface area that's on this discharge valve. The pressure working against it compresses the spring, and now all that air that we are compressing will travel through that discharge port or discharge valve and then out the discharge port. This is the compressed air. On the other side here, our inlet side, the air pressure is working here, and now I've got the spring pushing this poppet down, and now the air pressure is on the top side of this valve, or this poppet, pushing it down, holding it on its seat, and not allowing the air to pass through here. So it's exiting out the discharge port, but holding the inlet closed. Looking at the one here on the right, I've got the valve, or the piston is coming down, drawing air into the chamber here, into the cylinder. So again, over here on my discharge, I've got a spring-loaded poppet that's the spring is pushing down on the poppet valve there. It's on its seat, and as I am drawing down, I am creating a low pressure area here. So I've got a vacuum or a negative pressure working on this surface in conjunction with the spring to hold that discharge closed. Over here, I've got the incoming air coming in, and that vacuum, or the absence of pressure, working on this large surface area here, drawing it, compressing the spring and drawing that inlet valve open. And now the air from the air filter system is coming in, passes around the inlet valve and into the chamber in the piston as the piston draws down to fill the cylinder with air. Then we cycle back over to the compression stroke, or the discharge stroke. Touching on the unloader valve. So when we turn the compressor on and off, right, between loaded is the compressor is on, it is creating air pressure. To the unloaded, it is the compressor is off and no air pressure is being created. And we do that with our unloader valve here in that cylinder head. So what we would do is send a pressure or a air signal in here. So pressurized air would come in here, work on the bottom side of this piston here. This piston would compress that spring and move up. And you can see the pin that would come up here and physically contact that inlet poppet and push it off of its seat, right? So as we draw the air in, it's going to be open, filling the cylinder. Now that piston comes around, it's moving back up. This unloader valve is still holding the inlet open, so instead of compressing the air, it's going to take the path of least resistance and push the air right back out past the inlet and back into the inlet system, air filter and that. So that is the way that we turn on and turn off the compressor, is by holding open the inlet valve with the unloader valve. Again, unloaded, the air compressor is turning, but it's not pumping air. I've got the unloader valve open, inlet port is open. When the compressor is loaded, the unloader valve is down. It's allowing the poppets to move as they should, opening and closing to compress the air and send it out the discharge port.